Hi, Dave. How are you?
All right, how's your day been?
Well, it's been all right. Look at us doing a bit of rough revelations and realities. Little podcast.
So exciting. I think I wouldn't smile this much normally.
No, you don't. How's your day going?
Well, it's been a bit of a day, actually.
Has it been a bit of a day?
Yeah.
What's happened?
So I had this customer in, and he chose violence from the second he came in the door.
This is why I'm glad to have left the grooming profession, because I don't think a dog really genuinely wakes up, and not like humans do. There's certainly days I wake up and I definitely choose violence for that day.
Yeah.
But I don't think a dog consciously chooses violence for a day.
Yeah, so it got me thinking, because, if you dig into his backstory, there's lots of reasons why he behaves the way he does and why he just turns up at his groom expecting it to be a bad experience for him. And
so wait, when you say violence, what, I mean, are we talking, like, I would think, because when I used to groom, it definitely was dogs who did have those bad experiences visiting groomers, going through the whole process. So they would bite, they would try and, hit the equipment out of your hand with their paws, they would like do all of this sort of stuff. But then you had others that didn't intentionally want to bite you and things, but they would just wriggle and move and try and get the little level of violence. I was shocking.
Yeah, so he's a biter, not a lover.
Oh, excellent. So
he turns out he made it a lover. But actually, when you dig into his backstory, like I was saying, there's lots of things that have led him to this point. So it got me thinking, like, has a dog ever just badly behaved? Or, if we dig into it, is there reasons for that? And actually, is bad behaviour even a thing? Because at the end of the day, are they trying to communicate something?
Yeah.
Is behaviour just behaviour?
I know what you're saying. Yeah. I personally think no dog consciously makes decisions to do the wrong thing, to be either a horrible dog or an aggressive dog or whatever. I do feel though, because I have some of these dogs, I do feel some definitely lean towards more the naughty realm overall. And they'll choose it, like, I hate the phrase, but my dog knows it. Because chances are your dog doesn't actually know it. We haven't proved behaviours and all that nonsense. But there are certain things that over time your dog will have learned that is a boundary of yours, and you do not like them to behave in that manner. Sometimes they're just doing it to get a rise out of you. Sometimes they're doing it just because, like, they have given in to those intrinsic thoughts. I just thought, I'm just going to do it.
But
There's an element of that.
Sometimes it's quite funny though.
Yeah, sometimes it's funny. So I think when it's in a way, I think when it's a funny one, chances are it's just the dog. Do you know what, actually, I always think that's a sign your dog feels safe with you. So when they can be that little bit naughty, that little bit goofy. So I suppose in like a human element, I would think back to when I was a teenager, where I probably knew I wasn't going to get in massive trouble for it. I knew, like, mum and dad wouldn't be very happy, but I just wanted to, like, stay out later, or I wanted to
push the boundaries.
Basically, yeah, because I knew in a way nothing horrendous was going to happen. But I also knew I did have unconditional love for them. They weren't, it wasn't there was something up because I made a choice to do something. So I think that sort of stuff, in a way, is like the dog feels safe enough with you to explore those behaviours, because, dogs are dogs, they're not robots. Yeah. They're going to have good days and bad days. But I think when the dog is going to the point that they're showing violence and things, I think you're 100% right. There's something else to that. But I think for the average person, it is going to look like the dog is deliberately being bad, if you want for a word. Like, they're deliberately being disruptive, they're deliberately being horrible, they're deliberately causing issues within the human routines and And it can be hard not to get frustrated at those dogs, and it can be hard not to blame them per se. But I think there's definitely, because at the end of the day, it is true. Behaviour is just behaviour. It's what's the word? Like an external showing of how that dog's feeling internally is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
But I think also it's, if the dogs, they don't have a McAuliffe, they can't say to us, do you know what, by the way, you're really tired today, I'm really short-tempered, I didn't sleep great last night, and any word the dog's running up to me, so I'm just going to growl and woof at them and, tell them off. They just cannot say that to us. And unless you suddenly get some Dr. Dolittle powers, you ain't going to know that was why the dog was suddenly more reactive to dogs on that particular walk when it, it's not necessarily, it is. But I do think, behaviour is a form of communication, but it's also a way to externally show how you're feeling internally. And I sort of wish more people understood that instead of, because I get lots of phone calls and emails from, dog people being like, they keep doing X, Y, Z, and it's irritating me. So, like, why are they being antisocial and barking and lunging at other dogs?
Yeah.
Why can't they just have dog friends? Why do they have to start fights? Or why do they keep stealing stuff in my house, but then when I try and take it back, they're growling at me, trying to snap it? It's things like that, and I find that's one of the hardest parts of my job, is to try and explain that actually your dog's not trying to be horrible. I think for most of us, we probably own breeds that were bred to work with us.
Yeah.
They were bred to perform a task. We were supposed to work as a team. And some breeds, no, absolutely, work well on your own. So if you think of the terriers, just wind them up and off they go and let them make the decisions, because we can't go when they're going to go and do their ratting or whatever. And whereas if we think about, their gun dogs, they're there to listen to the cues and go and get the game for us, all this sort of thing. So they're generally looking for direction. So there's most dogs just want to be good boys and girls. They want to get it right. They want to make us happy. They want to be part of the family. Their mission is not to be like an antisocial hormonal teenager who is there to push the boundary. That's not their job in life.
So how much then does the setting play a part in good behaviour, bad behaviour, that kind of thing? Because, I think a lot of the time the behaviour is just inappropriate for the setting that's in.
Yeah, I think that's probably a more accurate description. When the dog's giving us the bad behaviour, it's just socially unacceptable behaviour for the environment that they're in.
Yeah.
So, us going and eating out, if I started flinging my food off the plate and dropping my glass on the floor in a restaurant, that's really inappropriate behaviour when we're in a social setting.
Yeah.
And we're not shouting across a restaurant, and we're not going, banging our cup and going, where's my food, where's my food? That's inappropriate behaviour in that environment. If you want to do that at home, that's fine, that's your house.
Yeah. But if I was taking you to a restaurant and you kept behaving like that,
I would be.
I probably stop taking you.
You would.
But for some reason we keep putting our dogs into situations that they can't cope with.
Yeah.
And we're doing the bare minimum, if anything, to help them cope with that situation.
Yeah.
But we turn up expecting a different outcome.
Sadly, yes. Yeah, no, you're completely right. I think it's going from, because we could be speaking about the range of things people consider bad behaviour is actually, it's quite broad, and it could be anything. So we'll take something that is...
It's very personal, isn't it?
Yeah.
A lot of people think jumping up is bad behaviour. And then other people love it when their dog jumps up. They're like, yes, my dog loves me. This is how we express how much we love each other.
That's it. And that gets confusing for dogs. Because if you're a person who, not the end of the world if your dog jumps up, and you do enjoy that interaction with your dog, when you meet somebody that doesn't like that, that becomes a more tension situation for you as the owner, where you standing there trying to ask your dog to stop jumping up, and you're getting all flustered because this person is now making a judgment call about what you find acceptable in your boundaries and stuff like that. So absolutely, everybody's different. Some people allow their dogs on furniture like sofas and beds, which absolutely fine. It's a funky place to be. You snuggle up with your dog, fantastic and sociable. But there's other people that's a hard no. And if you're visiting somebody who that's a hard no, it's stressful bringing your dog because your dog can't understand. Oh, everybody else I can get up on the sofa, but why not this particular house? So you can have stuff like that. You can have things like, if your dog has suddenly found the joy of wildlife, so rabbits, deer, and their recall has now deteriorated. So when we go to those environments, your dog's going after the scent and chasing rabbits and things like that. I agree with you. It's surprising. I personally would stop taking my dog to those environments, work on the recall, work on extra skills that the dog needs, and go back to that environment once we're improved upon and stuff like that. But it's amazing how many people will continue going there as if the dog is just going to get used to it. That's the favourite one I hear.
Yeah.
I just keep taking them so they get used to it.
Yeah.
Just so they get used to it. But that is the dog trying to tell you something. So them going off after wildlife, chances are that's just a genetic drive in them that they're like, this is my job, this is what I do. It's fun, I love it. But when we're talking about a dog, so a dog, say you take the dog to the restaurant with you, and the dog acts like me, is jumping up at tables, barks at people as they come in and out of the restaurant, barks their head off at another dog being there.
Yeah. Hustles for food as well.
Yeah.
Probably.
To keep taking the dog there, to me, is just madness.
Yeah.
Let's work on training, but also let's dig into why does the dog behave like that?
Yeah.
Is it something as basic as actually, do you know what, you never taught? The dog doesn't understand how to just relax and switch off. The dog doesn't understand that in this environment, we want them to lie beside us on a mat, maybe not on a mat, probably under the table, and just chill while we're eating and stuff. So it could just be something as simple as a training issue. The dog just doesn't have an idea, finds it very exciting because these places, they tend to like having dogs there. So what they do is the waiting staff will bring the dog a special chocolate. People will stop by the table to say hello to the dog that's in the restaurant and things, and it's all lovely. So for that dog who's genuinely enjoying the experience and is just excited because they're getting to go there and they know that they get made up a fuss, it is that behaviour in a way is getting reinforced because the dog will have several visitors coming to see them and bring in the good stuff. So yes, that's probably just a training issue, and you just need to maybe work on the bits of behaviour your dog needs, so the skills it needs, and then after a time come back. Maybe you choose outdoor restaurants to begin with, so there's a bit more space, and then you start venturing indoors again, and just as your training's going. But then you've also got the dogs who that experience is actually terrifying for them.
Yeah. And I was going to say that, inevitably, there's going to be some dogs that are just never going to be able to cope with that type of situation. And you and I talk a lot about folk trying to put a square dog into a round hole and putting them into situations that is not right for them.
It's quite sad. I think our desires and our thought, when we get a dog, we do all have visions of what are we going to do with the dogs together. So for a lot of my dogs, I want to do agility with them, and I enjoy doing agility. Would hope to go out and compete with them and fun with them and do this with them. But some of my own dogs, actually, once you start training agility, I could see they were like, I don't like this. Yeah, they were just like, this is a bit like me. hyper energetic.
Yeah.
Like, no way to do this running and jumping.
It's hard
to one side.
you know, we can sit here and say, oh, well, accept the dog you've got.
Yeah. It's
But
devastating.
it's hard.
It's hard. If that dog really, if you know, a lot of us will get a dog to have his company, to add to the family, to go out on walks with and have adventures. Some of us, it's more to help our mental health. So actually get us up and being more active instead of staying in the house. Make us feel more confident when we're out and about and allow us to possibly meet people and start increasing our social circle. It's when you've got a dog that does the opposite of that.
Yeah.
That is just devastating because you will have set up in your head, this is what's going to happen with me and this dog.
Mm-hmm.
And after a time, you'll be confronted with, oh, that dog does not match up to the expectations that you had. So that could be that this particular dog cannot cope in busier, close environments where people are walking past them, other people are bringing dogs into cafes, in restaurants, and so they're barking their heads off and things. And don't get me wrong, you can do training around that. You can do sort of posture would be like behavioural modification. You could do that, but for some dogs, that is always just going to be a hard no.
Yeah.
Like that's never going to be that enjoyable experience. That would be like asking me to go on a school trip with a bunch of primary ones.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how many times I do that, I'm never going to go. That was fun.
I suppose as well, like it's all boils down to how important that thing is
Yes.
to you or that place is to you. Like I think, you know, it's worth putting in the effort. For me, it's worth putting in the effort to get my dog comfortable at the vet.
Yeah.
It's not so important for my dog to be comfortable at Costa Coffee. I'll just go without them.
Yeah.
So I suppose it just boils down to
how important it is.
How important it is and how much effort you want to put in.
But I do think there also has sometimes for some dogs, there has to be the realisation, I am trying to put my square dog into a round hole.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter how many trainers I pay. It doesn't matter how many, tasty, nice rewards I give my dog in that situation.
Yeah.
My dog is not comfortable. Like my dog's never going to like this. Is never going to enjoy this. And the nicest thing you can do for your dog is go, do you know what, mate? I hear you. This isn't your bag. We can do other fun things together. Because it does affect your relationship.
It does. And, that kind of, I was going to circle us back, but you've just circled us back. Circling back to behaviour just being behaviour. It's not good behaviour, bad behaviour. How important is that change in mindset to actually coping with the situation? Because it can be quite overwhelming to think that you have a bad dog.
Oh, yeah.
That you can't take anywhere because it's a bad dog that doesn't behave well.
It's horrible. It's horrible because back in my early years of training, because there's a whole background. This could be, we could be talking about somebody who has chosen a breeder carefully, who has, went to a breeder who's done a lot of socialising with the puppies and has done all the gold star type stuff. And yet, this dog still might not cope with some of the things that you wanted them to do it, or shows behaviours that you were like, I don't want this. I don't like this. But this can also be said for dogs that you rehome now, whether this is through rescue centres, whether this is one that you to a friend of a friend, or like your auntie's pal's cousin, like however you've got the dog.
Yeah.
And then, so I found with my guys, most of my own dogs, being from rescue, back when I was first starting out, very much was like, just get the classes, that'll fix it. My dogs were totally overwhelmed in those classes. They were barking constantly, they would lunge out. I didn't know any better at the time. I was just like, I was that person. See this square dog, I am pounding it into this round hole. Tuesday, you are going to enjoy going to this class. The first 2 classes, I honestly thought this will get better. You know, I was that person that's at the very top of the hall. The nearest person is 5 seats away from me. I would be in and out, you know, first and last to just get out of people's way. I couldn't hear the instructor because my dog was barking so much. I couldn't get my dog to settle and focus on me because they were so overwhelmed by the whole environment. 2 weeks in, so the first week was a surprise. I was like, oh, it's fine, it'll get better. I'm at classes, it's going to be fine. Third week, not so much. Second week, I was a bit more prepared, but I was disheartened after the second week. Third week, I didn't want to go. I was, you know, it's about an hour before class. I'm like, people are talking about me. I don't think they were, but this is the story you should tell yourself. People are talking about you, they're judging you and your dog. I'm saying, I've only had this dog 3 weeks. You know, we're still getting used to each other and things. I'm perceiving disapproving looks in the class, which is making me more flustered. And it's a horrible feeling, and you can begin to resent your dog. So when you keep trying to hammer away, and you genuinely try to help your dog be comfortable, and so this can be the same with your dog's out on a lead and it sees other dogs running about and it's barking and it's lunging and things. Taking it to busy places where lots of off-lead dogs are is not necessarily the most helpful thing for that dog. But if you are doing a training plan alongside that, and you're having the support of a professional and it's still not getting better, chances are you probably need to go, this is maybe not my dog's back. If you're just trying to do it yourself, thinking you're doing the right thing, but you don't really know, because like you say, there's so many reasons behind that dog's behaviour. So it's genetics, anxiety, is the dog in pain, previous experiences and learned history. You know, the list is massive, which is why you need a professional to give you a hand to try and achieve your goals. But yeah, I think behaviour is just behaviour. The dog is not deliberately trying to annoy you and do the wrong thing.
And I think when you realise that, it's almost kind of a relief. Like, right, I don't have a bad dog. It's just communicating to me that I'm not comfortable in this situation or blah, blah, blah.
That is it. I think it's when you either appreciate what the dog is telling you, there's relief. I always think you can understand the reasons behind, like, the whys of why something's happening, a behaviour, like a situation, whatever. I think you start to become more understanding and you start to go, oh, I see what's going on. So you feel calmer about it better. And it also means that when you meet those judgy people, because they're there, they just think they can say whatever little thought is in their head. They have no idea that's making you feel like shit. They're just going to tell you, oh, you should get the trainer in there, or maybe you shouldn't be here if you can't handle it. That is devastating to somebody who's trying it. That's not helpful in slightest. But if you're understanding why your dog is exhibiting these behaviours, at least you could communicate to that person. And sort of, if you wanted to, you could just tell them shut up, but you could expand on it and say, my dog is doing this because of, and educate them in the fact that, no, it's not just being a bad dog. It's how many times have we seen this judgy stuff about children who, you know, neurodivergent children that are having a meltdown in a shop? I mean, that's just the disapproving looks parents get. It's just horrendous. That person's no idea why that dog is doing that. That dog, that child. But do you know what I mean? It's that same thing. It's just because you can't cope in that context and that environment and things like that. So yeah, I think you feel relief. But I think as well, when you just go, do you know what? I'm going to accept you for that square dog that you are. And if I want to go to cafes, then I'm just going to go with my mates. You can chill at home where you'd much rather be and you'd be happier. Or I'll go to cafes when you're at daycare. Or, you know, when you're out with another family member or something. And actually you'll find yourself just do the silent relief.
Definitely. And, as well, I think that, the dogs, all the animals have as much right to be here and to live their lives as we do.
Yeah.
And I think we just have to remember that we're putting them into this really unnatural situation.
Our expectations of our dogs nowadays are just mental.
Yeah.
They're just mental with the things that we're asking them to do.
Definitely. And that was the case with the dog this morning that chose violence. It's not natural or comfortable for him to be in that position. It's like us being at the dentist. Really, it's not a fun feeling.
For the dog or
So,
like that either. Not always going to be the nicest, most corporate person there.
yeah. So we just try and develop a relationship where he hates it, I hate it, but we get through it. We find our life.
You know what though? I think that's tricky because I think that's a good point to touch on because we're talking about in a grooming context.
Yeah.
And I think that makes it more tricky because when we start looking at a dog's welfare, so a dog who hates the vet, a dog who hates going from the groomer, sadly, you can't do what we've just talked about with cafes and restaurants. You can't just go, I tell you what, I'll take the dog. That's not how that works. That we have to find coping skills around. And yes, we do have to accept it's not the dog's funnest thing in the world. It's not what the dog enjoys. But when we then are looking at welfare issues, i.e. coats getting nappy, meals getting too long, so they're curling round and the dog can't walk properly. When we're looking at the dog's unable to get medical attention and when it should be able to, we're going to have to try a bit hard. We can't just wash our hands of that and go, well, that's just behaviour.
Yeah.
But at the same time, when we see that happening in vets and at the groomers, I really don't think we should start getting cross with the dogs and being like, you're just being a dick.
Yeah.
Because they're not. They'll try and communicate. No, they're not coping. It's like,
I think we need to do like a whole episode on that.
yeah. That one's separate.
Yeah, we'll do a whole episode on that. But and as well, certainly with the wee guy that I was grooming, it's just about like building trust. And I think we'll talk later about how important that is as well and how we can build trust with our own dogs.
No, I think that's a good shout. And I think just recap our conversation and stuff. I think that your main takeaway points are behaviour is essentially just behaviour. Dogs don't know the nuances of the human world.
Yeah.
Where things that a dog would do, like eat poop, is not acceptable in the human world. You don't like it.
100% that's bad behaviour, but to the dog, that's amazing.
Exactly.
Like my wee Lily loves a poopsicle in the winter. That was her favourite. In fact, I'd have to race her. If one of the other dogs was pooping, I'd have to race her.
Yeah.
Me with the poo bag or her, you could get there first. That's disgusting. People have turned it off now. I don't.
But it is true. That's like to a dog. It's perfectly not. Waste not, want not. Do you know what I mean? It's still tasty, but to us, we're like, what? No, not doing that. And I get it. I don't particularly enjoy it if my dogs are doing that. But there's it. What a dog would choose to do, and as asking them to be in a human world, it doesn't always gel very well. So I think we do. Behaviour, generally speaking, is just behaviour. A dog is not deliberately trying to make your life a misery. But at the same time, behaviour is also a symptom of how the dog is feeling internally.
Yeah. So
that should mean we dig deeper instead of just focusing on how to stop that behaviour happening.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So I think those things are always worth investigating.
I think you're talking about how a dog is feeling emotionally.
Yes,
but perhaps in another episode we can look at how they're feeling physically.
Yeah, because that's a whole another one. You and I have got stuff to do. So We'll leave that there. Behaviour is just behaviour.
Yeah.
Don't get your knickers in a twist about it.
Don't put your square dog in a round hole.
Exactly. Don't want to be banging away with that mallet. Cool. Right. I'll see you next time.
Toodle.
Bye. Bye.